Dead of Winter, a movie that comes out in the dead of summer, I think. I think it's still summer. I could be wrong. And pretty good suspense thriller movie. I was not expecting much out of this. I didn't really hear about this movie prior to my watch. There's a couple big names in here like Emma Thompson, Judy Greer. I mean, there's something to work with, and I think Brian Kirk did a damn good job at directing this movie. I never heard of Brian Kirk before this. I never watched any of his other films he's made. I expect this to probably be his bigger one, just because I mean, when I went to the theater, I was surprised with how many people were in it. There was even like family of four with like two like 6 year olds. I was shocked, but Dead of Winter was a pretty satisfying suspense thriller movie. It has a bunch of smart characters, sort of, and I think a lot of the heart. There's a lot of heart in this movie. I'll just start off with Emma Thompson, who was I mean, the best part about this movie, not my favorite character for a very stupid reason, but Emma Thompson was absolutely brilliant. She's pretty smart throughout this movie. The first time you see her and she's seeing the blood on the snow in front of um, Mark Menchaca's house, she sort of thinks something suspicious already, but she's still trusting of him. And she goes to the middle of the ice lake and she hears gunshots and screaming and she immediately runs to hide to her truck. And then she goes and figures out everything that's happening. And she goes to the house, leaves a message on the window, leaves her gloves there still after taking them off to write the message on the window. And at this point, you think, like, this is upsetting. Because she seems pretty intellectual in this movie for everything up until that point. And you're pretty worried that maybe we're dealing with a pretty dumb protagonist. But she it was all part of her plan. Um, she lures out Mark and Judy Greer into the ice lake, and even has Mark fall into the little hole she's planted and everything. And I was like, damn. So she's actually really fucking smart, and it seems like even every little mistake she does is still gonna lead to her victory, I guess you could say. And throughout the whole movie, she's just doing genius moves left and right. She finds the radio in the car to call the two guys who end up just dying because they're idiots. And she's filling up all the sinks and destroying a bunch of shit and taking a gun and building the hole in the lake. And she's doing all these things that usually protagonists don't do in movies. Like, they're usually really not this smart. But it feels like she goes to every single extent to try to rescue Laurel Marston. It's either Lauren or Laurel. I think it's Laurel. Laurel Marston's character, and she doesn't get much screen time in this movie, but for the few minutes she does get, I think she's pretty okay. I wish we got more of her and maybe a little more of her backstory. Not that I wanted more backstory in this movie. I think the few flashbacks, while they are pretty lovely, I think could have been better told emotionally with Emma Thompson's acting instead of just straight up flashbacks. But I do think they're still pretty cute. The first one where they go to the lake for the first time, and then the one where she's pregnant, and then the one where they're old together and he's dead in the kitchen. I think all that's lovely. Oh, and I skipped the one where he proposes to Emma Thompson. All of those are very lovely, but I think we could have just got that with the ring on the finger, the picture in the truck, um, even the picture at the end of the movie. I think all that, and the box of ashes. But I think it all worked out pretty well. I think all of it was really cute. Um, and as for Judy Greer, I think she's a pretty smart protagonist. Usually, when these movies come out, especially these not as popular ones, one of the two of the protagonists or antagonists are pretty stupid. But I'm happy that Emma Thompson and Judy Greer both play pretty smart characters. Judy Greer waiting outside of the house as Emma Thompson's trying to escape the second time, and she's holding the rifle at her and pushes her back down into the basement. Um, the scene where Emma Thompson pulls up with the two hunters or whoever they were, and she's just hiding behind the fence waiting for them. And she has Mark Menchaca's dead body sitting in the driver's seat of the car, and she comes out and just kills the both of them, and even almost injures Emma Thompson. I think all that was great. I really appreciate that they were able to give Judy Greer and Emma Thompson pretty smart characters. I th- I'm just happy they weren't scared to not go that route. It feels like they're just playing a game of chess against each other most of this movie, and not a game of cat and mouse, and I really appreciate that. um, as for Laurel Marsden, I wish she got more screen time. We find out that she's suicidal. I don't think we got why. The basement scene where Emma Thompson's trying to escape, they're talking a bit back and forth with each other, and every line Emma Thompson says to every single character that isn't Judy Greer feels very, very real. She's talking to Laurel about her suicide and how she shouldn't do it, and then even when she shoots Mark, or she axes Mark Menchaca's foot open, she's still like very. She's just such like a warm, heartful character, and she cares about everybody, no matter how evil they are. She always tries to find like an answer for everybody. Judy Greer, she wants to even drive to the hospital, even though she's like inches away from cutting open Laurel's stomach and getting her liver or whatever, or lung. And I just love her character. Her as a main character was just so lovely. I do have a bit of a soft spot for Mark because he's probably not my favorite character. But every time he was on screen, you can just see that the reason he's doing all this is because of Judy, and he just seems like a innocent man after every point after the intro of the movie where he's kind of angry at Emma Thompson. It's he just feels so like endearing, which is so unfortunate because he's clearly a bit nuts. But like his voice is like such like a sweetheart voice. He has like the cool big old mustache. I love his character so much. I wish he got a bit more, but like I said, the chess game between Judy Greer and Emma Thompson was fine enough. So that all went well. A lot of the shots in this movie look absolutely great, but my favorite shots from this movie is from the last battle between Judy and Emma, where Emma Thompson handcuffs Judy Greer to her, and she jumps into the lake with the box of ashes that her husband had left for her, I guess. And the first shot where she holds it close to her heart is like so stunning. But then you have the shot immediately after where she opens the box and all the ashes are flowing in front of her, and the camera pans out and it's like this giant wide shot of the lake, underneath the lake, and just the beam of light hitting her as she's slowly drowning to the bottom of the lake and dying. I mean, it was unfucking real. Apparently this movie had the same cinematographer as it was a really bad movie. I wish I could remember, but I was surprised. This movie looked very great. Being in the snow was very helpful, and getting people who can give off that northern Minnesotan or Canadian accents were amazing. Like, I think everyone in this movie did good. I wish we got more of Laurel, the suicidal girl in this movie, but uh, so much of Emma Thompson's backstory and even who she is now as a person was, I think, enough to fill that void. I think on a good day, I'd give Dead of Winter maybe an 8, but I'm going to play safe and just put a 7 right now. I'm feeling a 7 out of 10 for this movie. I think it's very good. Um, it's a bit tedious and it feels like you do a few things a couple times in this movie, but I feel like everyone did a good job in this movie. The direction was good, the cinematography was pretty wonderful, and I think all the acting was solid too. I don't really see a huge negative about this movie. It's just that this movie wasn't absolutely fantastic. So Dead of Winter, if you haven't seen it, I think it's a pretty solid suspense thriller movie. And yeah, that's about it.